The year is 1955 New York. Private Detective Harry Angel lives on a modest income, doing small investigations. One day he is approached by a mysterious client, Cipher, who offers him a job to track down a talented musician, Johnny Favorite. Johnny was once a successful performer, but his life changed dramatically after the war. Cipher explains that Johnny disappeared from the psychiatric hospital where he had been following serious injuries, and now his whereabouts are unknown. Cipher claims that he and the musician had a contract, the terms of which remained unfulfilled. Harry agrees to take on the case. Harry Angel, accustomed to low-level cases, agrees to take on the investigation, not suspecting that it will lead him to the discovery of dark and terrible secrets. He begins to search for information about Johnny, starting with his family and acquaintances, but his search yields no clear answers. Angel's first contact with the club where Favorite once played does not yield the desired results. Here he meets an old acquaintance, Johnny, who claims that the man was a talented musician, but his behavior became strange after his return from the war. The man says that Johnny was withdrawn, suffered from nervous disorders, and was often tormented by nightmares. Harry begins to guess that not only mental problems but something more sinister lurks behind Favorite's disappearance. Angel's next step is to visit the mental hospital where Johnny was once treated. Here, Harry encounters resistance. The medical staff of the hospital is not in a hurry to share information about Favorite, and it seems that all information about him is hidden under confidentiality. However, Angel manages to find a few scattered records that Johnny suffered from severe psychosis caused by an unknown trauma. One of the doctors treating Favorite turns out to be a woman who recounts Johnny's strange symptoms. She claims that he was convinced that he was part of some mystical ritual and his hallucinations were linked to dark forces. The doctors have never been able to explain exactly what was happening to Johnny, and this only adds to the mystery of Angel's case. Meanwhile, the investigation leads Harry to a new man, a musician who once played with Johnny. This musician confirms that Favorite was an unusual man, possessing not only talent but also a dark, mystical side. He mentions that Johnny was often on the lookout for something that could explain his strange behavior, and that he was obsessed with making a pact with a higher power in order to become a great musician. With each step of the investigation, Angel encounters darker and more unpredictable events. His search leads him to a woman named Allison, who claims to have been intimate with Johnny. She tells Harry that since Johnny's disappearance, her life has changed. She began having strange nightmares and experiences that led her to believe that Johnny was connected to the other world. Allison is convinced that Johnny sold his soul in exchange for fame and success, and that his disappearance is due to his failure to honor the deal. She explains that the person who made the contract with Johnny is Cipher. Allison tells Harry that Johnny was obsessed with succeeding at all costs, and that he was willing to make any sacrifice to achieve his goal. She also mentions that after Johnny disappeared, she felt a strange change in her life. Harry, who doesn't believe in supernatural explanations, begins to doubt the reality of what he's being told, but still can't ignore all the strange things going on. Continuing his search, Angel decides to meet Cipher himself. Cipher turns out to be not only mysterious, but also an extremely powerful man. He reluctantly tells Harry that Johnny was his friend, and that they made a deal that brought the musician fame but also destruction. Cipher claims that Johnny was his chosen man, and that his disappearance is due to the fact that the terms of the contract were not fulfilled. In the course of the conversation, Cipher hints that he is the devil and that his intentions are to take Johnny's soul. Angel begins to realize that his investigation is not only about Johnny's disappearance, but also about his own fate. He soon discovers that he has been involved in this game from the beginning, and that his own existence has everything to do with the deal made between Johnny and Cipher. Angel realizes that he himself is part of this mystical contract, and that his life has been preordained. Harry finds that his own memories and identity are being questioned. He begins to doubt the reality of what is happening around him. His mental state deteriorates, and he begins to see hallucinations that are intertwined with reality. With each passing day, he becomes more and more aware that he is trapped and that there is no turning back from him. Angel finally realizes the whole truth. He encounters Cipher, who reveals his true identity. He is indeed the devil. Cipher explains to Harry that he was part of the plan all along. Harry and Johnny are one and the same person, and his existence was created in order to fulfill the terms of the deal. Cipher says that Angel was born out of that deal, and that everything that happened to him was part of his destiny. In the last scene of the film, Harry is confronted with the horrible truth: his life was no accident. He has always been part of this dark game, and now he has to pay for his part in this mystical ritual. He realizes that he cannot escape his fate, and that his existence has always been foretold. Angel accepts his fate, but realizes that this is only the beginning of his torment. Harry remains in this nightmare, fully aware of his role in a diabolical game from which there is no escape. He has become part of the tyranny that Cipher has set up for him, and now he will forever remain in this dark and terrifying world.